Hi, my name is Steph and this is Steph Does Data. Today we're going to be looking at graphing in Python with matplotlib. So first thing to note is that for almost all of the functionality that you'll want from matplotlib comes under the submodule pyplot, which most people import shorthand as PLT. There are three graphing types available to choose from: line graphs, called with plt.plot, bar graphs, called with plt.bar, and pie graphs, called with plt.py. All of these functions will, at minimum, require you to input the data to be graphed, but also allows you to input more details to customize the data. You can set things like the label names and the variable color. For line graphs, you can change things like the line style and data point symbol. For bar graphs, you can change things like the bar width, rotation, and position comparative to other variables. And for pie charts, you can set the label positions and spacing, just to name a few. Plotting multiple variables for most of the plot types is very simple. All that is required is to repeat the plot function with the new data you want to add into the same graph, and all of the entries will show up. The one exception to this is the bar chart, which is slightly more complicated. Without any adjustment, pyplot.bar will simply layer the data on top of each other. To solve this just requires either shifting the x-axis to put the data next to each other, such as in this example, or the y-axis to put the data on top of each other for each new input. Just like most things in Python, you can choose to simply run the functions with no attached variables by using plt.plot, or you can attach your figures to a variable. There is some variation in syntax, but for the most part, most of the functionality is available for both methods. plt.plot is generally the simpler approach. However, I ended up using the named method over the unnamed one, as it did give me access to some functions that I needed. You may note that there are two variables attached to the plot, fig and ax. Fig refers to the total figure, allowing you to set things like image size, title, and layout, whereas ax refers to the graph itself. Having these two be separate variables allows you to do things like plot multiple graphs underneath each other on the same image, or set multiple axes on the same graph. The variable ax gives you access to formatting the axes themselves. Simple things like labels, formatting, start and end points, and tick density, to more specific things such as formatting an axis to show date or times instead. And that's the basis of pyplots. Of course, there are other ways to produce graphs using other packages, but matplotlib is definitely the most popular one and has pretty much everything you could want for a standard line, bar, or pie chart. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time.